evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining Respus Live. Good evening. Happy Monday. It is such a great day to be alive. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you everyone for joining. If you would please start a watch party or share this video on tonight, this podcast, we would greatly appreciate it. If you would please share the podcast, share the video on tonight. We're excited about being back on tonight. Hope everyone had an amazing day. It is a great day to be alive. Again, we want to shout out to our new sponsors before we get started. Cumberland County Christian School in Fayetteville, North Carolina. We thank you for sponsoring Respus Live, where the owners are James and Dr. Jessica Respus. Thank you so much for joining, for sponsoring Respus Live. Again, if you would like to be a sponsor, please inbox me or send a message, and we'll be glad to have you and to give you an actual shout out on all of our shows for sponsoring Respus Live. And tonight we're going to talk about dreaming big. So if we needed a subject, it would be dream big. I think sometimes we dream small and we feel like we have to stay within the lines, because I remember when I was in kindergarten and when we started coloring, they wanted me to stay in the line and box me in. But unfortunately, I never had that personality or that attitude where I stayed in the lines or where I allowed someone to box me in. And so many times in life, you know, people tell us what we can and can't do. They put limits and stipulations on our success, or, they can look at you and say, well, you're not going to be anything in life. Your daddy wasn't anything in life. Your mama wasn't anything in life. And so sometimes people put us in a box and make us feel like we can't dream big and that we need to stay small and think small. But I serve a big God, and I'm sure that you do as well. And so therefore, I don't think small anymore. I think big and I dream big. So we have to believe big as well. So on tonight, we want to at least drive that point home that we can dream big. No longer are we staying within the lines or someone putting us in a box telling us what we can and cannot do. We are motivated and encouraged. We're not going to wait to 2020. We're going to start dreaming big now. We're believing big, thinking big, and we're going to make sure that we're not in a box, because it's time out for us being in a box and people telling us what we can and cannot do. And there was a poem I found. It says, think big, dream big, believe big, and the results will be big. So small-minded people think about small-minded things, and their results will be small-minded. But when you begin to dream big and think big and have conversations with those that inspire you and motivate you. So if you are a big dreamer, please don't get in a conversation with someone that thinks small, because then they'll help you abort your plan. And I call those dream snatchers. We've talked about that before on Respus Live. So we want to make sure that we don't hang around people that think small if we're dreaming big. That doesn't mean we're better than they are, or that we are all that in a bag of chips. It just means that we want more. As a matter of fact, I want everything that belongs to me. If it has my name on it, I want it. And I understand the principles of whatever I put out in the atmosphere will come back to me. So when I think big and when I dream big, I look for big. I expect for big. And it was one of my favorite scriptures. It says, it's actually Ephesians 3:20. It says how now unto him that is able to do exceeding and abundantly more than we can ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. So more than we can ask or think. Now that is way cool if we just break that down. Now, if you can think it, he can do it, and we can think big, then we can receive big. So I want you to make sure when you do your vision boards and when you sit down and write your goals and visions, that you make sure that they're not small. Now, it's good to have some obtainable goals, don't get me wrong, and you want to show some type of progress as you go. But for goodness sake, don't get comfortable in dreaming small. Dream big and think big, because he's able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. So we got to remember to think big, and we serve a great and mighty God. So I want big things to happen for me in my life and my friends and my families and even my enemies. So I hope tonight that you'll be inspired to dream big and to think big and to believe big, so that you can receive big. So tonight we have a dreamer. We have someone that thinks big, that dreams big, that believes big, and his products are big. Amen. And we are grateful for that. So I always want to bring someone in that's local, because we know Oprah Winfrey, we know Tyler Perry, we know all of those. But we have people right here in our Brunswick, New Hanover County, Pender County, that are successful, that are amazing, that dream big and are doing big things. So tonight we have a special guest that dreams big, thinks big, believes big, and he is doing big things. He has some things that's already taken place. and some new things coming. So we are so excited and so glad to have you here tonight. So Respus Live, please welcome Nakia Hamilton, also known as Red tonight. He is a director, a writer, a producer. He's a man that thinks big, dream big, and has done big things and will continue to do larger and bigger things. So we're so glad to have you here on tonight. So for everyone that don't know you, because there are probably some people that's watching that don't know you, please introduce yourself.
I am Nakia Hamilton. I'm a writer, director. Just call me a filmmaker. I write and produce movies. I just have been blessed. I started from basically nothing. I didn't have a network of filmmakers, a network of people in the industry, and God just gave me a vision, and I took it from there. And He continues to bless me every day.
So you're actually a producer, writer, director. Tell us how that all began for you. I mean, did you think about that when you were growing up, or did something inspire you or motivate you as you began to get older?
Well, the way it started off was I was performing music, and I was writing and producing music, rap music, and I was traveling around just performing. Then one day I decided that, I want to give that up, and I told God, what do you want me to do? That's what I want to do. And I told him I was going to quit music and pursue that. Then to make a long story short, in about 2 days, a bunch of stuff happened that I have never seen. I see my friend on public access TV performing, studio I went to all the time, walked up to me and said, hey, somebody dropped off some video editing software. You want to check it out? Just out of the blue, right after I prayed to God about just giving up music and doing what he wanted me to do. And so in the middle of that process, I ended up on Time Warner Cable, a public access show. I had to do it for free for 2 years because you can't make money off public access. It cost a lot, but it was a great learning experience. Yes, it was probably the most awful thing I ever made, but it was still probably one of the best shows on there. So as I continued to keep pursuing, after those 2 years, I met a lady named Linda Raleigh, and she questioned me about turning it into a business. And from then on, I just kind of grew and got a couple of distribution deals, sold some movies, and voila, I'm here.
So you started off rapping?
Yes.
That is cool. And how was that? I mean, was that something that you always wanted to do? And
yeah, that was my passion, my first love. But the lifestyle at the time, I fell into the lifestyle instead of falling into who I was and bringing it into the music. So basically, I wasn't even smoking weed, but I was writing songs about smoking weed.
Right,
I was just really trying to cater to whatever I thought other people wanted. And as I started to grow, I realized that this is not who I wanted to be.
Right.
And I had a son at the time, and I met my wife a couple years later, and I realized the rap thing would not be great for me and my family.
That's good.
And in that process, a bunch of things happened, and voila.
That is good. So you realize that was not the direction that you need to go in. And that is so good to share that part, because, even as we move forward in our dream and dreaming big, sometimes we do have to make a U-turn or a right turn or a left turn based upon where we want to go. And as we grow older, our desires change and our dreams change. And so at that point, there was a shifting and a transitioning in your life. And so you have a conversation with Linda Raleigh, who is a dear friend of mine. We thank her for it's amazing how some people can just speak into your life, and
she
our
has
conversation.
No idea how she's spoken to my life.
It's just amazing. One conversation with the right person can change your entire perspective in your entire life. So we're grateful that Linda was able to speak into your life, and you received that as, okay, this is something I need to do.
Yes. I think one thing that I've learned just trying to pursue dreams and goals and just setting plans, one thing I noticed is that you got to be ready. And there's times where you can have the information, but you're just not ready. And so I think it's in order to get ready, you have to kind of clear your mind. You have to really figure out who you are, do a assessment on yourself, and figure out what you need and what is best for you. And when that time comes, you will be prepared for the information to take that step. We can go out here and tell kids and tell the youth how to do the right thing all day. But if they're not ready to really live a fulfilled life, then, it's pointless. It's almost like pearls to swine,
Right.
So
That's good. So when she spoke to you, there was something that she said that you received that changed the entire trajectory of your life. So you went from doing what you were doing at first,
yes,
right into producing, filming, and was that your first time? You just jumped, or did you have any background?
Well, when I met her, what she inspired me to do was to turn it into a business.
Right.
So, and it was the fact that she believed in me.
Okay.
You know, and sometimes we don't realize that. She was like, you should turn this into a business. You should do yada, yada, yada. And it was like thinking to myself, wow, like nobody never told me that I could do that, you know? And sometimes we're so caught up in just living, we never really stand back and really look at the bigger picture and what we're capable of. And when she said that, it just really opened up my eyes.
So it allowed you to dream bigger.
Yes.
At that time. So you turned it into a business.
Yes,
and that's
ma'am.
how it all started for you.
Yes.
How many years ago was that?
That might have been 9.
9.
Yeah.
9 years ago.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. So within those 9 years, tell us how dreaming big has been beneficial for you and your family. Because I've actually looked at some of your work, and you've done a lot of work.
Thank you.
I don't know if a lot of people in Wilmington are even aware of how much work you've done. So I'm actually glad that you have this platform on tonight to share some of your movies and some of the the plays that you wrote and directed and produced, because there's a lot of good stuff out there that you've already done, and that we need to make sure that everybody's aware of how amazing you are, and how you took your gift and you allowed it to grow, and you began to dream big. Because are you originally from Wilmington?
Yes.
Born and raised in Wilmington in New Hanover County, Black African American male. It is refreshing to see that we're not all in jail, and that we're not all on the corner, you know, and that we're not selling drugs and all this. All of us are not doing that. So it's refreshing to see a young man that has, for the last 9 years,
Yes.
taken your dream
Yes.
and just moving forward. And I know it has not been easy. So please explain to us some of the struggles that you've had, because we want people to understand when you dream big, it doesn't come without a cost. You know, I tell people all the time, you don't know the cost of the oil in my alabaster box, you know. So when you dream big, when you put yourself out there are trials and struggles that you have to go through. Tell us what motivates you when you hit that brick wall when you started, because I know it has not been easy. You can tell us some of the things that you actually experienced, and then how you got through that.
What's funny, one of the things I experienced was just how the business operates. I have had a distribution company tell me, we can never sell your film because you have a Black person on the cover. And I had to learn that it wasn't necessarily them being racist. They didn't know how to sell a movie with a Black person on the cover.
Wow. Because
every distribution company has a business model. And so even if I bring them a movie with Denzel on it, it will probably jam their cash flow. Their normal audience, they're not interested, you know? So it just taught me a lot about the business that I had to learn in the beginning. And what it showed me was that I had to separate my emotions. It couldn't be no more about what I wanted.
Right.
It had to be what the audience wanted. And I had to figure out a way to present that to them without going against what I believe. And that's the tricky part. And once you figure that out, you can start to build and figure out what works for you. Oh man, it was so many things. I have had people tell me that they needed all Black people on the cover, you know? So as I do business and work with people, I have to figure out ways that work for people and ways that, you know, doesn't go against the way what I believe, but at the same time, it's something that I can control and benefit my family.
Absolutely. I love that, because in dreaming big and thinking big, you cannot be emotionally driven.
Yes.
Because you could have easily said, okay, I tell you what, if you don't want to take this, then I'm done with you. I'm not going to do this anymore. But when you look at the larger picture and you look at where you want to go and the things that you want to do and how many dreams you have in front of you, because this is the first of many, you have to let some things go and just say, just chalk it up as, okay, this is not the end. This may be the issue now, but eventually I know as we move forward, it will change. And I love that about Tyler Perry, as just watching some of his clips, you know, there was a lot of tables that he was not invited to. So he could have easily folded and said, you know, Hollywood will never accept me. He could have easily folded and walked away, but then he decided to build his own doggone table. And it was a nice one as well. So in the midst of that you could have easily said, okay, I can't do this because, they don't want me to put African American people in front of the, you could have easily walked away, but you understood the big picture, And so sometimes our thinking keeps us in a box.
Yes, it does.
Now, if you would have just thought about that and stayed in that box, you could have missed out on so many blessings.
I'm sorry. Go
ahead. You're fine.
Yeah, but that's a daily thing that you have to deal with. I just think in business in general, like for example, like almost every film that I've made except 2, I have took a loss on. And the biggest loss was a $7,000 loss in a film. And to most people, like in the industry, oh, that's all you lost. Like that's no big deal. But for me, like, that is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
But I could have just said, you know what, I'm done with it. I can move on and just, leave it alone. But I still approach the companies, I still approach everybody as I should have, with respect, and still do business as men. And by doing that, other opportunities have opened for me to where that $7,000 really wasn't anything for what came after.
So sometimes you have to lose in order to win.
Yes. Definitely.
So as we move forward, and I'm loving this, Red, because what you said is that as you move forward and as you begin to dream big, you will have obstacles, you will have things that are roadblocks that will be in your way, but you cannot be emotionally driven. You have to stay focused on what it is that you want to do, where you want to go, and don't allow things and circumstances and what people say to kill your dream.
Yes.
In the midst of moving forward, you have to take some things and you have to lose some things and take some loss. And it's amazing how we want to win, but we don't understand in the process of winning, we have to take some losses along the way. And so $7,000, that's a huge loss. But in the long run, you understood, okay, this is not where I'm going to end. This is just a beginning or either the middle part. So as we progress forward in our dreams and in our visions and in our aspirations, our goals, we have to understand that sometimes we may have to lose to win. Sometimes we may have to bite our tongues, and look at the big picture. Okay, how is this going to benefit me if I say this or if I pull away? That would not have benefited you.
At all. One thing I like to do, when I meet somebody that has achieved a certain level of success, I ask them, if there was one thing you could tell me about business, what would it be? And one guy told me that ran a business that he made like $20 million a year. He said, you got to give the people what they want. Another guy told me, count your own money. And there was a few nuggets that I had to take that showed me that what they went through. The guy that told me to count your own money, he had a successful business and was trying to transfer it to the internet, but he let his business partner handle all the finances, and it just went upside. And he ended up working at basically a factory after that. Yeah. So just seeing that other people, one thing we don't want to do is respect the elders that have been through it and done all these different things in the industry and have failed and came back. And we got to listen to those stories, take them by heart. There's so many times I want to tell people the rules change, but the principles don't. Okay. Like that they are still there. You still have to find an audience. Timing is important. The same thing that Colonel Sanders had to do to be successful, you got to do today, but you just got to do it on the internet. A brick and mortar and an internet website is the same thing. You still got to draw traffic. If you look at your web page and you go to a link and it's empty, that's just like walking into a brick and mortar and there's an aisle with nothing on it. That's the energy it gives off to people. So we have to understand, like, you really have to listen to the elders, take it by heart, and understand their experience. And when you do that, you can see that, they were here, they fell down, they kept going, they got back up, they fell down, they up, and expect that process. Just, you got to keep moving forward, keep going. I got so many bumps, man. I could tell you about bumps all day. Well,
the good thing is the bumps did not stop you or did not derail your dream or your visions. And so tell me what motivates you when you have those bumps. What is it this inside of you that keeps you moving forward? Out of all the bumps you had, you could have easily thrown in the towel, just based upon what you've shared with me on this evening. And for those of you that's just joining in, because we did have some technical issues, this is Nakia, also known as Red. He is a director and a producer among so many other things. And we're talking about dreaming big on this evening. How don't allow anyone to keep you into the, how when you was little and you was coloring, you had to stay within the lines. We're saying tonight that we can actually color outside the lines, and there are no boxes that people can keep us in, because we're going to dream big. So in the process of dreaming big, you ran into some obstacles. Mm-hmm. What is it that's inside of you that keeps you going forward when you have ran into so many bumps?
One thing that moves me is I learn something new. That really drives me. When I get stuck, don't know what to do, I just do some research and learn something new. And it kind of just really motivates me and empowers me, and just it gives me a lot of vision. Then also the fact that I have a lot of people dependent on me. Like, I'm so deep in it, I can't quit if I wanted to, Mm-hmm. There's so many people that are expecting me to achieve certain things because they have supported me, they have believed in me, and for me to quit would be for me to quit on them also. And I really think those are the two major things that really motivates me and inspires me to keep going.
So you understand this is just not for you. This is for so many other people. I understand.
Me and my a guy, well, he's my business partner, and he handles most of the audio. And we always say it's not about us. It's about everything after. If you look at Walmart, yeah, he did a great job, but it was about everything after that, and it's the same thing with us. I may never see the full success of Love Life Entertainment, but it's not about me seeing that. It's not about me getting an Oscar or anything like that. It's about personal freedom. It's about my kids being able to go to church, love the Lord, and have the opportunity to fulfill what God calls them to do. If God says go to the right, go to the right. Mm-hmm. They don't have to worry about, I got to go to work because the lights are, about to get cut off and things of that nature. I don't have to live in a environment where I feel like I can't fulfill what God has called me to do and just feel stressed out and pressured. I truly think it's about personal freedom. And if my daughter has an event, me being able to get up and go. I don't have to ask my boss or anybody to go spend time with my daughter and get their confirmation.
That is good. And I noticed that when you said earlier, you was talking about finances and how, in this business, you want to make sure you stay abreast and on top of everything. Mm-hmm. I listened to Oprah said that she made 95 cents out of every dollar. And then Tyler Perry said he never sold any of his content. And so it is important for us as we dream big to make sure, if we don't know how to handle our business, to have someone around us that we can trust. Yeah. Because I look back at some people like Red Fox and a lot of people that were successful but lost everything because they were not attentive to every aspect of your dream.
Yes.
So it's imperative for us to do the research. As we dream big, we need to make sure we do the research and make sure we have people around us that we can trust and help us propel to the next level.
Yes.
So with everything you have going on, so tell us about like your first film, and you have them. There's some in your stuff is in Walmart and
Walmart, Amazon. Tubi.
Yeah.
One was on Hulu. We have Fango now, Pluto TV. Yeah. It's quite a few things.
Yeah. So it's amazing how we can find a lot of your material on different avenues with the media. So tell us about your first film and how did that go, and the process of what you're doing now and the latest one that's coming out, because you got a lot of good stuff going on. So tell us about that.
My first film was a film called Gone But Not Forgotten. It was a documentary about a murder that happened in Wilmington, North Carolina. And actually I was friends with the guy that passed away and the guy that was convicted of the crime. So it was, it was a little personal, but the experience of creating the project was very interesting. I financed it myself. With I think it was $900. I financed the whole project. And it was just trial and error trying to figure things out. We had my cousin Chris, he hooked 2 computers up and we printed 500 copies from 2 computers we hooked up. We designed the cover. We just really decided we are going to do this. Regardless of what happens, we are going to do this and get this done. And it ended up being a great project. And it was really it was an eye-opener for me, because the day that we showed the premiere, we was in a church that seated 999 people. That's what the little fire department thing said. and it was overflowing.
Wow, that is awesome.
And it was just like mind blowing. And it also was something new. At that time, people really wasn't, independent filmmakers really wasn't a big thing around here. So that really motivated me to just move forward.
And what was the next project that you did after that one? Now, how can we find that if we wanted to look at that?
Oh, that's not available anymore.
Okay.
You would actually have to get a DVD for somebody.
Okay.
And that's for a lot of different reasons. For me personally,
right.
and also for the family,
yes.
that was
very personal.
Yeah,
I understand that. And what was your next project?
The Evolution of James H. Nixon. I love that documentary right there. Yes, it was. That documentary showed me that every film that I make, it's not just for the people I make it for, but it changes my life also. Just being able to sit down with him and just listen to him talk, I sat at his house with him and he just kind of told me his history. And you never really know a person until you really sit down and just hear him talk. And one of the proudest moments I had with that documentary, I walked into a salon. I don't know if my wife was getting her hair done or whatever, and it was on the TV. And they were playing it. And somebody there said, you know what? I did not know he was so down to earth. Because he had this big church, when people come in, they sit in the back and they just see him from a distance. But it let people know that he was human.
Yes.
And that's one of my babies right there.
Yeah, that is good because so many times we judge people. And I feel like I'm one of the most misjudged people in the world. I really do feel that way. And it's fine. I've learned to deal with it. But because people don't take the time to get to know you, they judged you, based upon the way you look, what you drive, where you work. She's stuck up. She thinks she's pretty, all that stuff.
But it's also your glory. It's also just for real, like the presence and power that people see in you. They don't know how to take it. And sometimes when they see that on people, it's usually a superstar on TV. So when they're next to you, they don't know how to take it. And that's something I had to learn. People will try to figure out a way to say something to kind of talk you down, but they're really trying to make sense of, because they're insecure with themselves, how can I be next to somebody that is just so great, So don't ever think it's just, that ain't it.
So I'm glad to hear that you were able to do a documentary on him so people can actually see that, he is a real person and down to earth. So that's like 2 documentaries. When did you start doing movies? Because you have how many movies now?
Oh, man. Let's just say 7 or 8
7 or 8 movies, yeah.
And there's maybe 4 documentaries before that.
Okay. Yeah. So what was your first movie?
Now, bear with me. Okay. It was a Christian film called The Greatest Sex I Ever Had.
Okay.
But it was about 3 Christian couples that had issues in their sex life. So instead of turning to God, they went to all their friends for answers, all these weird counselors, and it was a comedy.
Okay.
And it was a great idea. I just think it was way too early for that.
Oh, yes, definitely.
It was way too early.
I can see people getting uncomfortable right now, like, ooh.
But
and the reason why I say that is because I wrote a book, and when I send the book to the publisher, it's a Christian fiction book. They send it back. They're like, we got to do something different with this context. Yes. So I just kept it. I was like, I'm not changing my story. I'm just going to find somebody that's going to take it and move forward. Because when you put Christian and you put sex and you put real life, people don't want to deal with that. But it's so real, and real is rare, but real is what we need to see. So definitely, I can see how that was before people were able to accept that. But I bet you if you brought it up now, maybe it'll be a little bit more accepted because it is real. As a Christian myself, I do struggle with issues and I'm not perfect and we have our flaws, but we just move forward. But it's amazing how the industry didn't want to receive that about 5 or 6 years ago when I first tried to produce my first book. It's interesting, but I'm gonna still put it out there and see what somebody say. So that was your first one. That's interesting. And so what about the next one, the mixed movie?
Beautifully Insecure.
Okay. Now that one was in Walmart, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was my first movie that I sold to a distribution company. I had companies that wanted to pick up The Greatest Sex, but I released it myself, and I learned that it was one of those movies that, and actually I made a lot of money off that movie.
Did you?
But it was weird because people went on Amazon where they can watch it kind of privately. You know what I mean?
Of course. I mean, you ain't going to get it. Church ain't going to be full with that one. Take it out.
It wouldn't go in the church bookstore.
Listen, let me tell you So, you know how you say you had 900 and something at that
Yeah,
first?
oh,
They,
no,
they would not have been in there. They were like, oh, I can't go see that, but can I watch it when I get home? I understand. Yeah, they don't want to do that in the public eye, but yes. And so that is awesome that you made profit off of that. That's good to know. And so the next one was Beautifully Insecure. And that was about...
a lady that had a condition called alopecia, where, for those that don't know, it's a condition where you can lose all the hair on your body. It doesn't matter race, age, or whatever part of the country you're from, you can have the condition. And basically, the female, she used makeup, eyelashes, fake eyebrows, wigs, and things to hide it. And she fell in love with the guy. And during that process, the more she fell in love, the more she felt the need to tell him that she had the condition. And I ain't gonna tell you the whole movie, but it was good.
It's still available now.
Yes, and one great thing is it's been through almost every platform, and Dollar General is picking it up.
Are you serious?
Yes, and
Dollar General is everywhere.
Yes, and they're putting it in. I think. Well, it's going to be in a package. So it's going to be with 3 other films in a package.
That is so cool.
I'm not sure when the date is. I just know sometime in 2020. And it's going to be like $7,000 journals, which is crazy.
That is awesome.
And that was a movie I made like 3 years ago.
That is awesome. Yeah. So you're still dreaming big. I love it. And able to receive your blessings years after you did a film. So it's going to be at Dollar General. And y'all know they're everywhere. I'm telling you, I could be in the woods. And Tyrese, I'm telling you, it's just like bone dogs. And I look up, there's a Dollar General. Yeah. So it's good to know that we'll be able to pick up your product from Dollar General. So I'm excited about that. And whenever you find out it's in Dollar General, you let me know so I can get back up here and tell everybody, go to Dollar General and get it. Because, I understand about being a blessing to other people when you have a platform that can do so. So that one's going to be in Dollar General. And you're still making profit off of that after so many years. That is great. And so this, again, we're telling you that you can dream big. And you can be from Wilmington, North Carolina, and have your stuff up in Dollar General. And that's awesome right there. That is Walmart, Amazon. This is amazing. So for whoever is watching, I want you to be encouraged and share this with your children and let them know that they can dream big and there's nothing impossible. And I can't say it enough. We have so many amazing people right here in New Hanover, Brunswick, Pender County. And I intend to drag every one of them on Respus Live to share their story so that we can help someone and help them understand that we can do it from right here because you are successful at what you do. So that was your second one. What do we have next? Because I definitely want everybody to understand that you have some amazing work out there that we need to look at.
Let Go, Let God was the next film.
Okay.
That was the first film I actually went and got well known. Well, all the actors I work with are pretty known. They are definitely out there every day, getting themselves out there, just being active. But this guy I consider a legend,
right?
Clifton Powell.
Clifton Powell. So we're gonna pause right here for a minute. So when I saw that, right, I was telling somebody about you, and I was like, Clifton Powell was in one of his movies. They was like, the one from Friday, and so I'm like, I've never seen Friday, and I know, please don't take my black card. I'm gonna watch all 15 of them. I'm just kidding, it's 3. But at first I'm like, Tyrese, why I gotta sit and watch some people on the porch? But I'm gonna watch it because I heard it was funny. Yeah. But so he's the guy that was on Friday. So when I tell them that, they was like, oh, so he was in one of his films. I'm like, yes. So not only are you're doing big things right here in New Hanover County, and you have like big people coming because he's an icon for African American people, our race. He's an amazing actor. So to have him in one of your plays is huge to me. And when I saw that after doing research about you, I was like, this is really awesome. I'm proud of you and excited about what else is coming because greater is definitely coming. But tell us about how you was able to get him to be in your film and how did that work out?
It's always God. I mean, I can explain it, how the mechanics and everything work, but it's always God because I ended up sending the script because I was going to do another movie.
Okay.
Then I was like, nah. And this is funny how God works. And you got to kind of hear me when I explain this. I contacted Marvin Sapp.
Okay.
And Marvin Sapp and his team or whoever read it and agreed to do it.
Okay.
But he was setting up something for a tour and we couldn't get the schedule together. And I was like, God, like, he's a gospel artist. Like, do you want me to have him or like, what is it? So for some reason, I just sent it to Clifton Powell's people. And the agent read it and was like, this would be good for him. Gave it to his people. His team read it. and they gave it to him, then, you know, once everybody else approves it, you know, because he can't read every single thing that pops up.
Right.
And he read it, then he agreed to it. We got the paperwork done. And before he came this way, he was waiting for the plane, and he called me, and he was like, the reason why I want to do this because I've never done anything like this before out of all the 100 films that I've made.
Wow.
And he said, and it touches me because I'm going through something just like this character right now, which I was like, man. So he came, he got off the plane. Soon as he got off the plane, I mean, amazing guy. He talked the whole time, he told me stories about everybody, all his experiences and everything. And but he kept mentioning how what was going on in his personal life was the same as the character. And it kind of let me know that it wasn't about me getting him in the film. It was about him personally being in the film. Even to the point, one of the actors was like, man, he keeps saying, man, y'all about to take me back to church. Y'all about to make me go back to church. So it was definitely a moment of God using me to really touch him in a certain place that he was at.
That is awesome. That is awesome. That is so cool. And sometimes when we help people, we don't understand that they could be in the process of needing exactly what we're providing for them at that time. So it sounded like it was very therapeutic for him as he was going through his go-through, because we all have our go-throughs.
Yes.
And again, we're talking about dreaming big on this evening, and how you just didn't stop with your documentaries, that you kept moving forward. And so tell us about what you have now, your film that's coming out now.
And before I explain the next film, I just want to let people know, when I made the movie The Greatest Sex, I had to film it twice. So we filmed the movie, and it wasn't what I wanted, and I spent all my money. So I had to recoup and try to get money back and start the movie over.
Okay.
I had another film that I started, and I had to stop and just start over because of having issues with actors and people like that. But I had to keep moving forward, you know. With Let Go, Let God, and the movie after that, Secure the Bag, I wanted to do reshoots, but I had to take my emotions out of it because they were for me. But the distribution company was like, we'll take it the way it is. Like, we're not giving you no more money. You can do reshoots all you want. And I had to figure out what was better for the business. So I know when another filmmaker, whoever saw a certain scene, they would have criticized me or said whatever. But I had to bite my tongue on that because I had to do what was best for the business, my family, in the long run. And because of that, like, I got a call Friday, and a distribution company basically is going to pay for 2 films up front for me to film for them. Like, I'm not funding this out of my pocket anymore. And I could have said, no, I'm not giving it to you right now. I got to go do these reshoots. I got to end up probably losing money and things like that nature. But I had to put my own feelings aside. And I see so many people that end up spending a year on a film and trying to put value in places that don't give it value. So you really need to know who you're dealing with, who you're working with. You really need to know what they want, what the distribution company wants, what the platform wants, and that's what's important to them. I can get Denzel in a movie, and
well, if you can get Denzel to come to Wilmington, can I stop you right here? All the ladies is holler right in the comments. If you can get Denzel to come to Wilmington, we will be happy about that. Go ahead.
But it would, for my business, it wouldn't be a good idea.
I understand what you're saying.
But for me, it would be like, you know what I mean? Hey, you know what I mean? It's a great thing. But I had to separate that. And I think that's something that people need to know. You need to be consistent in what you do every day, and you need to be able to separate your feelings from what you feel to what's best for the business, because it's never about you. That's why it's called a gift, because it's something to you to give to other people, you know, like the talents that he gives me. So, man, I see so many people fail, so many people lose money. I know a guy right now spent $150,000 on a movie, never made one dime back.
Wow. So again, we go back to the being emotionally driven, and we can't allow our emotions to drive us, because in any area of our lives, because it could be, it's a conversation you have with someone else. You can be emotionally driven, or you can step back and make the best decision for you and your family at that time. And it sounds like that's what you did.
Yes.
And it was beneficial for you. And so many times we want everything to be perfect. Yeah. And understand that's not necessarily always the case. So I'm grateful that you made an executive decision at that time to let those little small things go so you can look at the bigger picture. Because one thing about it, you knew that wasn't going to be your last film. So what you didn't get right on that film, you can do it on the next one. Just like this won't be my last podcast. And so everything, when I look back at this that I've seen myself, I said, I can improve in this area and improve in that area. Then we move forward, we make the improvement as we go. So that was that was beneficial for you and your family to let that go and just move forward. So you took some loss and you came out of your pocket with a lot of your personal money.
Yes.
But it has paid off, would you not say, in the long run?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So you invest in yourself, and I don't know why we won't do it.
You know what? We do, but we don't do it in the right areas. We won't go and do a self-assessment. We won't go to a workshop. We will not health. Those areas we will not do it, but we will go and buy a car we really can't afford. We will go buy a $300 pair of shoes, but we will not buy books to read and to study and all of those things. So we do spend money in ourselves, but we don't do it in places of value.
That's going to benefit us.
Yes.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And as Jamie has given me the signal, because we can talk all night, we got to start wrapping up. But I do want you to tell us about the film that you have coming, the new one that's coming out.
The new film is called Dear Younger Me, and it's about a guy that loses his wife and father on the same day. So he goes to his family old ranch, and when he gets there, he's there to kind of just commit suicide and kind of end it all. But the 12-year-old him walks out of the bathroom. Wow. And he's stuck there for 3 days with the younger him. And the younger him is trying to inspire him to move on and to remind him like where he was then. So we are showing it December the 13th at the Bridge Church. That's 2101 Market Street, December 13th at 7 p.m. Tickets are $10. You can go to ilovemyvideo.com. That's ilovemyvideo.com and purchase tickets. I've just asked for your support because, at the end of the day, it's not about us. It's about us supporting each other. And so just come out and support local talent, local actors. And this film has already been purchased.
Oh, good.
So
good.
A distribution company is going to try to put it all over the world as they can.
We're excited. Can we give a shout out to one of the people that I noticed in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big Ike.
Oh, Big Ike.
I know Big Ike because Big Ike, he's a member of our church at Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church. Shout out to Dr. Henry. And so Big Ike is in this movie, and I'm so excited about that. One of our local, would it be called a teenager? Is he a teenager yet? One of our local teenagers is actually in this movie, and so that makes me super excited about it. So again, it's December the 13th at
the Bridge Church.
The Bridge Church. And at what time?
7 p.m.
At 7 p.m. So please, it's only how much again?
$10.
It is only $10 to come out and support. We're going to support him as well as Big Ike. And we do ask that you would come out. I actually put in the comments the time, the date, and the location so that you can come and support this vision, because you've dreamt big, you dream big, and this is a result of your dreams. You have this, and before you have even shown it, it's already been picked up. That's major.
Yeah, that is
major. That is major.
And it's nothing but God. I mean, I can say whatever about, what I've done, what I've learned from being around Jamie, what I've learned from, other people in the community. But at the end of the day, I know everything, the reason why I'm friends with them, the reason why they have their gift, mine, it's all God. So it's just such a blessing to me. And sometimes people think I'm just saying it to say it or to sound correct or whatever, but the biggest joy is to see somebody like Ike, or Brad Jones, or those people that are here that we grew up with on the cover of a movie that's in 1,300 Walmarts. That's in $7,000. That's awesome. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
And I don't think people grasp the fact that, somebody in California is picking up the DVD with them on the cover and enjoying it, and they're just right here with us, just walking around.
Exactly.
It's mind-blowing.
It is crazy. I'm so excited, and I'm so happy for you and your success, as well as for Big Ike in his debut. I'm sure this is probably one of his first movies.
Yes.
So we're excited about that. We're definitely going to support him as well as your vision. And again, we're talking about dreaming big on tonight, and this young man has dreamt big, and he is dreaming big, and as a result, he's receiving big things. And we're excited because we know the best is still yet to come. He that begun a good work in us, he'll perform it until the end. And I know greater is coming. And as you continue to move forward, always continue to dream, because sometimes we'll set a goal, and once we accomplish that goal, we think that's it. That's not it for us, because we're not going to stay in a box. We're not going to stay where people want us. We're going to move forward. So as you begin to move forward, I pray God's blessings upon you and your company and everything that you touch. Amen. I'm asking God to multiply it, because this is the season of multiplication, where when we touch something and we put him in it, make sure he's involved in it, he'll multiply it. Yes. And so we actually can see how you are dreaming big, and big things are happening for you. So again, it's December the 13th at the Bridge Church, 7 p.m. Just $10. Come out and support this amazing local producer. I love knowing that right here in the big city of Wilmington, we have amazing people, and in our churches, in our community, we have some amazing talent, and you do not have to stay in a box. You do not have to stay within those lines. You can dream big, and there's nothing impossible. He said that he will show us great and mighty things that we can't even think of. So I'm stand in agreement with you about the great and mighty over everything that you touch. And again, we're asking you to come out on December the 13th at the Bridge Church at 7 p.m. to support one of our very own, also known as Red, on tonight. So we thank you for coming out, and it has been my pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
And your family. He has his kids here with him tonight, so we're glad to have them as well. And so I want to give a shout out to my sponsors on tonight. I want to shout out to A&A Promotions for the music, the intro. And then Beauty by Drea is the one who does my makeup every Monday. She is amazing. So if you're ever in need of getting your face beat and looking amazing, she is the young lady that can help you with that. Beauty by Drea. And if you need to get in contact with her, please feel free to call me or send me a message, and I'll be happy to share her information. But she is on Facebook, Beauty by Drea. And then a shout out to my brother and my sister, James and Dr. Jessica Respus, for sponsoring Respus Live, the Cumberland County Christian School, and Fayetteville, North Carolina, sponsoring our shows. And we are so grateful. And if you're interested in becoming a sponsor of this show, if you want to plant seeds into Respus Live, please send me a message or a message on Podcast South, and we'll happily receive your sponsorship. And we thank you for signing on tonight. I thank everyone for signing on. Hey, Nay, thank you for signing on. And my BFF, Renee, has joined us next week, Lord willing. My BFF will be here. We're going to talk about friendship on next week. So please get your best friend and watch next week. My best friend, I have two best friends. I've been blessed. But my best friend, Renee Banks, will be my guest on next week, and we're going to talk about friendship and how important it is to make sure you have people in your circle that love you and support you, but also tell you when you're right and when you're wrong. And that's one thing that she does very well. So again, next week we'll be talking about friendship. So please join in and bring your best friend. I want to shout out to some of my home people from Burgos. I see Edward Tyrone McKnight has joined us. Thank you so much for joining, along as Janice Han. My sisters are on, Aretha, Aletha, and Angie. All sign on tonight. Thank you for your love and your support, as well as Pam Hill, Miss Beatty, and so many, Danielle and Kim and Phyllis Bryant. Thank you for signing on and for supporting Respus Live. We greatly appreciate you. And again, please don't forget the premiere of, the name of it is Dear Younger Me. Dear Younger Me. It is December the 13th at 7 p.m. at the Bridge Church in Wilmington.
Yep.
What's the address again?
2101 Market Street.
2101 Market Street. Please come out and support him. He's one of our very own. We're excited about your one of your older films going to be at Dollar General, and whenever that becomes available, he's going to let me know, and I'm going to let you know so we can go to Dollar General and just buy all of it. We're just gonna go there and buy all that stuff. We're gonna buy all of it up. So they're gonna be like, we need some more down here at Dollar General in Wilmington. But we're so glad. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing how you've dreamt big and how you are in the process of receiving big things happening to you.
Yes.
If you think small, you're gonna receive small. But I guarantee you, if you start thinking big and dreaming big and believing big, big will come back. What you put out in the atmosphere will return to you. So again, we ask that you would dream big on tonight, and I hope that someone has been encouraged, and that you will put on a pen on a piece of paper your dream and then expand it and put greater than instead of less than beside it. May his peace be with each of you until we meet again. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm excited. I know that the preview will be good at the Bridge Church.